What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode here of Palangi Studio of Rock, only on Radio Wigwam, every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 UK. Today, we're going all the way to Tennessee, right? Tennessee, I think so. We were just talking about that. No. Oh, man, I was so screwed up because we were talking about Tennessee before. Like Nashville.
It's all good.
Anyways, how you guys doing out there? What's going on?
Doing amazing so far, man. We did have storms here today, but fortunately there was not any like tornadic activity right where we're at. So
yeah, you don't want that at all. Nope. And I see he's got like a tub of beer. The other guy's got a guitar in his hand, so he's ready.
Yeah.
You got like a life water going on.
Right.
Trying to survive.
So everyone tuning into the video version. Now, folks, if you're listening to the audio version, hello out there, but make sure you check out the video version to be uploaded soon. Why don't you introduce, I don't know you guys' names individually. I didn't get the name list.
We'll start from left to right.
From Johnny,
Okay.
you play the drums.
Natel John, aka Redbeard, play guitar and try to do some backup vocals occasionally.
There you go.
Truman Fuller, I sing and have creative input.
I'm Rob. He doesn't have any creative input. I'm Rob. I play guitar.
So you have some creative input. It's always good, right, to have creative input?
I leave him. I give him a coloring book and put him in the corner. Let him have fun
with a dunce cap on.
So the guitarist is like a Metallica thing. He's the Lars in the band.
Yeah. Johnny's the Lars, and I'm the James, and he's the Kirk Hammett. He just gets poorly beat upon. And
So Dark from Day One. Where did that name come from? Because it sounds like a horror movie title for me, which I like it.
Very cool. So it's kind of crazy, man. A long time ago, I was reading an interview, Scooter Ward from the band Cold, and he was talking about his sister got diagnosed with cancer. And so he was like, we're in the dark from day one. So I thought, man, be interesting. So we're born into this earth innocent, not knowing the pressures of stress nor the evils that humanity is capable of. Our only hope is that our life will never be anything short of extraordinary. Therefore, we are in the dark from day one.
That's awesome. Is that quote like everywhere on your website? Because it should be.
He said that before.
Yeah. Well, you can legally quote him. So.
He rehearses it in front of the mirror.
Yeah, that's good though, man. So that's cool. I'm always interested in those stories because songs end up that way, and sometimes band names end up that way. And you guys all agreed upon it. That's rare too.
Well, this is like probably the third-ish iteration of the group.
So I conned them into playing music with me.
Yeah, he did. He promised fame and success. I'm very upset about it. I just don't have the heart to leave.
They didn't read the fine print.
Yeah.
There you go. And you're in your practice studio right now, right?
This is one guitars. Of them. Yeah, this is one of them. We have a couple, man.
We practice here many a time.
Yeah. Okay. Couple hundred spots you got. 100, always a couple hundred is good.
Right. Yeah. It'd be nice to have 100. I feel like 100 would be a lot of upkeep. Like you have to keep cycling through them, vacuuming them all.
You have to hire a staff or something out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, this is a low key interview, so sometimes we get caught up, and I'm just like, oh, look at all the gear. But this is a recording studio. Like I'm in my recording studio. What's different is I like to talk about recording in gear, which a lot of interview guys don't.
Oh, so I love talking about recording in gear. That's all I do.
We have a lot to discuss then.
Sure. Okay, because I'm very interested in that. First off, everyone in the video side, what kind of guitar is that you're holding?
This is a Alvarez Mastercraft, handcrafted. It's African mahogany. I bought it from local. Yeah, I've had a few years. I bought it brand new. It's one of the few guitars I bought brand new. I actually sat down and played many like it and chose this one because it just sounded and felt right. And I've made a couple adjustments to it since I've had it. I put brass pegs in it. I put a little, it's hard to see, but there's in the sound hole here, there's like a little trumpet funnel thing that kind of helps cut feedback, projects the bass a little bit.
Oh, that's
Acoustic
cool.
Electric has a phase switch on it, a sweepable mid filter. It's just a workhorse guitar.
It's got some extra juice to it. That's cool.
Yeah.
Does it play more like an electric too, where it's got that feeling?
It is a very rock solid acoustic feel, but the action is really nice, and you can really kind of get down with it.
Okay. I've owned two of those, and the one I have is it's more it's lower. I'd say more of electric action, but doesn't have the extra bells and whistles like yours has. Though.
Well, right now I need to adjust a little bit with the seasons because I've got a little buzzy fret here on the E second string, and I think it's humidity and
Check your neck. Is your neck bowing?
Well, I adjusted the neck for in one season. I think I overdid it slightly, so when the season changed, it dropped a bit too much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I have to rework it again, but it's due for a string change, so I'll just do that when I change the strings.
It's weird because it's like snowing here today, and then it was 60 the other day, and I'm like, decide what you want to do.
That sounds like Arkansas, man. You have tornadoes, snow, and sunshine all on the same day.
Yeah, someone's like, you can't have all 4 seasons in a week, and Arkansas is like, hold my beer.
Yeah, pretty much yes, you can. Yes, which he's almost finished with his.
I'm working on it.
You're working on it.
I think between the four of us, there might be like 20 something guitars in this.
Oh yeah,
I was gonna say there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
We'll get into that. And so you said this is like the second form of this band, second version,
third. Yeah, I think the third, fourth-ish. Which all these guys have been in it for a long time, you know. But yeah, I started it in 2006, and so you know, we toured, did several big things, and at that point,
what was the name?
It was still Dark from day one.
Oh, okay.
I think for a slight moment they went to rebrand from day one, but I think that was very short lived. I think they released one album, and this was before I joined the band. Then they went back to Dark from day one, which I like, so I'm glad that they did.
Who did you tour with all through the years?
So we would do like a lot of one-off festivals. We played with everybody from, you know, Avenged Sevenfold, 3 Days Grace, Skillet, Seven Dust, Godsmack, so on and so forth. Like full-on tours, we always did our own. Yeah, we were
What about Saving Abel? You ever hit up those guys?
Yeah, we played with them.
I played on their drummer's drum set. I can't think of his name right this very second. But,
was it Michael McManus when he was in there?
Yeah. No, it was
somebody else.
I can't even think of his name right now. Stephen Pulley.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Me and him were endorsed by the same drumstick company, and when they came through here, I was in a different band, and I got to play on Saving Abel's drum set because there was like the house kit that night. So
that's cool.
It was kind of cool, like sitting behind it, because I was like, "Your drum set's as beat up as mine." So this is cool. Like,
as a drummer, that's always the dream. Can I use, you know, I don't know, Disturbed's drum set or something? You know what I mean? It's like, just use our kit. It'll be easier. Bring your own snare, kid. You know. That's pretty cool.
It was cool. Cool experience.
So, what type of bass do you guys use?
So we've had several different ones. The bass players that have been in it have used Spectors. Ibanez. What did JC use?
JC used a Music Man.
Okay.
Yeah. Talking about gear instruments, bass guitars.
Now, what type of? I mean, obviously, I was going to talk about tunings too. So it seems like you guys are in maybe like a B or A tuning.
It fluctuates around a bit. The last song we just put out, our new song "Prisoners," we tuned down the lowest is to drop G.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna bring up that song too, because I was gonna say G first, but I go, you know, it's got to be like an A or something like that. But was that a 7-string? Did you use 7-string?
Yeah. So no, it's a 6-string. It's just a baritone.
Okay.
G.
Okay.
But the standard configuration that we always play was generally 2 7-string guitars tuned to drop A.
Yeah, that's like
with a 5-string bass. That's generally
that's like 80% of the songs that we do. But but I was listening to a lot of bands, and I was listening to like a lot of Sleep Token and stuff, and they tuned down quite low. And I was like, I'm gonna try to tune in something. I'm gonna take this song and just do it like a whole step lower, just to see like what the vibe is like. And it turned out pretty cool. So I'll probably do a lot more of that going forward.
How's that? Because I listened to the song. Like, you guys have a Linkin Park cover. We'll get to that too. Yeah. I heard elements of that and elements of like kind of some of the early 2000 kind of bands too in there spread out. Cool. And Revv, the band Revv too. Yeah. Really cool. Really cool.
Yeah, I was a big fan of those guys growing up.
How does that affect like your voice with the different tunings?
Well, generally, so I've explored with this band. I've definitely explored a little bit more of my high end palette with like a more distorted sound. You know what I'm saying? A chest voice distorted sound, and holding out, right, and then holding out really piercing like claritone notes high. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I heard the
So
growl on a new song. I was like,
right on. Yeah, definitely. I'm pushing myself in that direction right now. But
okay.
With the different tunings, so some of those notes I'll go up and I'll hit the root note at the top, and then I'll hit sometimes the second above it, different things depending on, you know, I know kind of like what my top note is, which this guy is pushing me all the time.
I know, I try not
to push myself even further.
I was waiting until he would point the finger at me.
And because of that, I found ways to hit notes that I couldn't hit before. Maybe we drop down just a little bit, and then I'm able to hit a different note in the register that I wasn't able to hit before.
Different key, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So a lot of the reason for sometimes those subtle drop tunings is for him, it's a lot of the sound, but also it's so I have a few different options and on the textures for hitting different parts of the top register.
That's so weird because I've experienced that through the years where it's like, okay, I can't do it in E, right? But if you do it in D sharp or D or something like that, I don't know what it is. It brings out something, but it's a different melodic tone in your voice, and I can hear that from some of the different songs because I know they're in different keys. We've had a vocal coach on here, Melissa Harding, and she talks about that. She was in 6 a.m. for a bunch of years, and she talks about that too. So there's certain exercises that can help with that and help get you there. But it's like you said, it's like I don't know. I like singing like octaves and different things too when you're always trying to find different notes, and sometimes you get stuck there.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And you're like, well, how can I sing even higher? And you don't realize it, but you're actually an octave higher than where you should be. And then you sound like Def Leppard or something like that. You know what I mean? So unless you want that vibe, that's totally cool, you know?
I think that part of it was because he was such a capable singer coming in that I kind of took for granted a little bit of like, he can do anything. I'll just record the song and whatever, and he'll make it work. So now it's a lot more like, because I get a little salty when we have to change the key after I've recorded something, because I'm like, it's designed to be heard. He's so efficient this way.
It's not the same song, man.
So now what I do is I like to if I have a demo or a rough cut or even just like the riff by itself, I'll kind of show it to him and be like, is this like do you think the key of this song will be more palatable? Because it also depends, like he knows where the top of his range is, but like anyone who's a good singer knows like there's like a sliding scale of like, as you lower the key, if you lower the key too much, you actually move the range up, not down. If you move it, like if you move something down a whole fifth, then really what you've done is you've kind of just taken and you're sort of going, it's like you're going around and lapping yourself in a race.
Well, you've changed the melodic area. If you're writing and you do that, you've changed the melodic scale. That's the area that you're writing, which is good sometimes.
So the big thing is just me is it's really just more functional. He's probably thinking about textures and notes and like how it's gonna sound, whereas I'm thinking about like longevity and like is the song gonna be fatiguing to sing? Like if he's singing a vocal line that has a lot of notes that are like kind of at the roof of his range the whole time, then I'll be like, maybe we should take that and drop it down a little bit or something like that. It's more of a technical exercise for me than a creative one, but it is fun to tune really low and make the guitars go like.
That's cool though that you try. Literally, it's like, okay, the song, you know, kicks ass at, you know, F or something like that, but we're going to try it in G just for the hell of it, you know, that sort of thing, and figure out what's the best. That's pretty cool. Because sometimes it does change the song too, where you kind of would be like, oh, that would have been cool or something like that. Because
sometimes the chord progression feels the nicest in just a certain key, and just like when you move it up or down, you're like, it just doesn't feel the same. It just is. It is what it is. I try not to get too attached to that, because there's a phrase we have, and I do a lot of recording and mixing and stuff with people. There's a phrase we have called demoitis, where people get really attached to the demo of whatever they're working on or whatever. I always think about putting a little piece of paper that says, I don't care how you used to play it. on the wall or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's that one time out of 10 where like maybe the original key has like a little bit of special sauce on it, and you can try going away from it, but it just kind of comes back to this is the one that makes you feel the best and sounds the best or whatever.
Who has influenced you through the years? Like everybody, just throw out maybe 4. I don't know, a couple.
Van Halen, Slipknot, Joey Jordison. The 3 drummers that they've had have been pretty good. I mean, like I was really impressed by Eloy. I saw him last year at Rocklahoma.
Yeah.
David Silverio was a big, huge influence from Korn when he was in Korn, and then I played with Korn in 2009. It was year, and Joey Jordison had played with them too. So of course, those were 2 influences that were right off the bat. And
wow.
Like there's not a lot of influences. Like I mean, there's a lot, but like if I was to sit here and be like, well, this is my influence because of blah blah blah, and this and that, like I would go through. Like I have DVDs still, if that says anything, of like my influences, like studying their drumming styles, and there's times I get caught on YouTube just like sitting there going,
how does he do that? Yeah,
like Slick Hogan has one on Drumeo, and you're just sitting there just like, how do you think your snares sound like that? That sounds so good. Like, so there's a lot. But it used to be like Tommy Lee from Motley Crue, Van Halen, Alex Van Halen.
That's a very open drum
Danny
style
Carey.
too. It's rock and roll, but Van Halen and Tommy. To me, it's an open kind of sound and the biggest kick drum you can get. I mean, he played with like a 30-inch kick drum on tour.
Yeah, he played with some pretty crazy setups. But as I've gotten older, it's been more like what drummer can actually play the drum set musically and make it sound like a musical instrument and not just beat the holy hell out of it until everyone's like, yeah, like it just, I don't know. I guess it's when you get older, you start to realize that music isn't just going.
Yeah. You want, as a kid, you're faster.
Yeah. Or you
I was
see
always
like
saying, can you play it faster?
Yeah.
Or you see a guy with like a 30-piece drum kit and he uses like 2 pieces of it.
Yeah.
What's the point of all that?
Tommy Igo, I got his DVDs, and he was a very, very good teacher drummer. But like I said, have DVDs that you learn stuff from these people, and you kind of appreciate their music along the way, because they're like, remember I did this in this song right here, and then you're like, well, let me hear that song. And it's so accessible now. Like you just go on YouTube Music and like, what song is this? And
yeah. And it's weird. Like for me, it's like Michael Jackson, like his music. You always think of his voice and stuff. That drummer, like I didn't realize it, like you said, till I was a little older. That drummer, man, he almost makes that sound, and he's just in that groove. He's got that style. He's a human metronome. But
when we went to NAMM and I was working for Silver Fox, I was working for the Silver Fox drumsticks and doing their displays with them, and we had Carmine, a PC, I think that's how you'd pronounce him. He was sitting right across from us at Istanbul Cymbals. And like Sugarfoot came over to our booth, and so I started kind of like appreciating that kind of music and being like, I never was a big, huge, like I wasn't moved by Michael Jackson. Like I guess when I started like really getting into music, like rock music, I was into Garth Brooks when I was a kid. I wanted to be a singer, and so it was like Garth Brooks and Chris Ledoux. And then from when I could sing to like 8th grade, I started getting into like rock music because of the kids that were into Korn and System of a Down and Metallica. And you had the people that were like, the darker, the better, the more evil, the more sinister.
El Nino.
Like, I played with them too at their village. And
cool.
When I was younger, it was like, how dark can it get and how heavy can it get? And now it's kind of like, how much can you actually appreciate what they're doing? So
did you ever listen to soundtracks? Like I have a feeling you listen to Bride of Chucky soundtrack or Freddy versus Jason, and that's
Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah,
I did Freddy versus Jason, and I do listen to soundtracks. Like I have like when I lived in Oregon, I used to listen to like Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack all the time.
Okay.
Hans Zimmer.
I'm a huge John Carpenter guy. I'll just throw that on.
Well, I loved what he did with the Halloween soundtrack for the 2018. Like I bought all those soundtracks. The last one, Halloween Ends, you couldn't find the actual physical soundtrack for the longest time. So I don't even know if I have it, but I have like Jurassic Park soundtracks.
I don't know if they released one. I know
Yeah.
the first two are really good. 2018 one's the best, but
yep. What they did with that was just like, I mean, it's like, dude, you just did this simple little thing to this song, and it's like, whoa.
I would say John Carpenter's score for The Thing is like one of the coolest minimalist scores you'll ever hear.
Well, Jaws.
Yeah.
Jaws, yeah, pretty good.
Yep.
But like the cool thing is like Steven Spielberg didn't write his scores, but John Carpenter directs his movies and does the music.
Yeah.
Which is like 80% of the filmmaking.
It's pretty impressive.
And it's actually drum based. It's beat based. This Escape from New York I've done a cover of, and it's all that drum beat going back
the Halloween
and forth.
soundtrack.
It's a time signature.
Yeah.
How can you make a song out of a time signature and have it's like that's the staple? There's no other song that time signature.
You can ask Tool, I'm sure.
Yeah, you can ask Tool.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's like when they were talking about the Halloween soundtrack, it was like you guys wrote that on bongos, and you know, I sit here and go, how do you play a guitar? Like, so it's any kind of instrument is really accessible if you apply yourself to it. It's not just something that you just oh well, I don't know how to play the drums. Like I hear that all the time. Like, teach me how to play. I'm not good enough. I'm not coordinated. And it's like
just start banging on it. That's what I say.
Hit it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
hit it. See how it feels.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I mean, when
feels good.
When I was a kid, I broke cymbals and I sucked. Like I didn't have any coordination, and I'm sitting there going, I want to play double bass pedal.
Yep.
So.
But it gets you going though. It gets you motivated.
Yeah.
So what motivated you guys to do a Linkin Park cover of maybe that specific song? I think that was from their third record, I think.
No, it's from the Transformers soundtrack.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Because I remember it came out and it was like, I'm like, it's got to be in between the third one and the fourth record or something.
Yeah, they just did that. They just did it for Transformers 2. Electric Boogaloo or whatever they did, whatever the second one was, and that's in the song is throughout the whole movie. The theme, but the little synth opening of the song is kind of there a lot.
Yep.
I don't know. Like the Chester from Linkin Park had just passed away, and I was like, we played around with another Linkin Park cover way back in the day.
It was Faint.
Yeah, it was Faint, and we never did anything with it. We should probably do something with it, but I don't know. I always thought it was one of the coolest ones. It's probably my favorite vocal performance of any Linkin Park song because it goes through all sorts of different tones and different like, you know, he goes down from like these silky lows to these really powerful highs.
Yeah.
So it's just got a cool vibe. It's probably not as heavy as like a lot of the earlier stuff, but like every time we play that song, everybody knows it.
Yeah. You get a good response.
Yeah.
People really
you always want to play one of those in your set.
I will say the most challenging thing about covering, for one, Chester Bennington is just outstanding and unique in what he did. Covering Chester Bennington, believe it or not, the hardest thing is not the range. The hardest thing is the vowel transitions. Like the way that he sang was unique, so he could pull off these flawless vowel transitions of saying going from, you know, ooh to an a or whatever, high to low effortlessly, because that was him unique as a person. So whenever you covered him, that's your hurdle, really. For me, it was
stamina as well. Like he holds out these giant belting screams.
You know,
a few singers do that where they go from the highest to the lowest note in a split second. That's challenging for sure. I think like Judas Priest, somebody said he can do it too, like in a split second. There's a few singers out there, but not Motley Crue. I know that.
No.
Rob Stanford. Yeah, he's such just a power.
Halford.
Rob Halford.
Rob Halford.
Yeah. Then you have the original singer of Judas Priest, Alan Atkins, who his range is kind of middle of that. He doesn't go quite as high, but he sounds just like him.
Yep.
Everyone's like, there's a original singer to Judas Priest. Yep. Oh yeah, folks.
Right.
He's still kicking.
Yep, the journeys, man. That's what music is. You know, it's an incredible journey.
Yep. The biggest thing is, right? So you change the singer, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's either the same band or different band." You know, bands change. Like Godsmack is probably going to change, obviously their guitarist and their drummer, and you know, some people might say, "I don't notice a difference," but you change that singer, and it's like, that's not the same voice, or he's trying to imitate him. You know,
sure.
The guy's like, I'm not trying to imitate him, where I'm trying to do my own thing and just play some, you know, whoever.
A very good portion of the talent left that band. So that's it.
I didn't even know what happened. I missed all that.
Well, I mean, the guitarist wrote, everything almost.
Yeah, his unique chugging style kind of like ushered in a new era of like how to use chugs rhythmically. Really,
Yeah.
Before there was anything like that, he was using that sort of like really heavy chug polyrhythmic sort of stuff. Not really polyrhythmic because it's definitely in the pocket, but just like the way he used them musically was different. Than
yeah.
most.
Yeah.
We played with them twice. They were good both times that we played with them. Yeah. Fantastic, man.
Yeah, I've seen them a bunch of times. They're always pretty solid.
Yeah.
I know it all started with Sully. Like the first Godsmack record is Sully doing every single instrument.
Oh.
The second record, I believe, is actually him drumming still.
Oh.
In some cases. Then there's that mysterious third record they recorded and scrapped.
All right.
Which is maybe leaked somewhere. But
yeah, it'll surface, I'm sure.
Yeah. The real faceless record. So then you guys, you have all your songs are on Spotify and all the streaming networks too. And then, so I heard you got an acoustic one too, Crawl. What kind of, it's more acoustic oriented. What kind of made you write that one versus another, hard hitting one?
So I was playing around on my guitar, and it's funny because I have an old version of the song that I sang on, and a friend, because sometimes when I hear a vocal melody, I like singing into the microphone just so I don't forget it or whatever. And the version of the song now is like the melody is totally different, but I think we wanted to write a song that gave him a lot more wiggle room. Was the idea?
Yeah,
and we also have another version of the song that will be coming out so hopefully here very shortly, which is where we take out all the electric instruments, so all the guitars and drums come out, and it's all orchestral and all the strings and stuff.
Yeah, okay.
That'll hopefully be seeing the light of day here really soon. But yeah, that song me and Truman say that's the little song that could, because it took us a lot of sessions to get it exactly right.
It started out with just file sharing. He sent me this, I think, 60-second long snippet of this little guitar riff that he had.
Super easy, super simple.
I sat down at the piano and said, "Ooh, I hear this." And so I sat down at the piano and just played out this melody, and then sent it back to him. And then he sent it back to me, and then we just kind of like built on it that way. And then it really was, I guess, a series of going back and forth and building little song that could, because every time a new layer was added, something else was done, and it took a little time, but I think we're very happy.
Is that what you generally do? Is you kind of go off on your own and write stuff and then come together, or do you ever like jam out a song?
Like that song,
like the old school
black, if anything.
That was more the black sheep for that. But Truman has a very diverse palette as well, and like a tremendous background in acoustic style music. Like it's really one of his fortes.
That was probably one of the big reasons I was like, we need a song that's kind of a palette cleanser for the set, especially because all the stuff we're writing now and all the stuff we were writing at the time was a lot more like, I would say Crawl's not my favorite song, but it's my favorite vocal song. It's my favorite vocal performance, if that makes sense, because it covers the full gambit.
Yeah, it allows that room.
Vocals. Yep. My favorite song period is Giants. But my favorite,
I was gonna say that's a good one too. I listened to that one, and I think that one and the new Prisoner one is my favorite.
Oh yeah, cool, man.
Yep. But I had to bring that up because I was like, every band writes that one acoustic song, or like you said, gives you space to melodically do some other things, and it's always a good thing. Every band's got the Nothing Else Matters too,
right?
To answer that question a minute ago, it really is. We do end up writing a lot, kind of like on our own. We'll have an idea, we'll share it, and then we'll come up with something, and then we'll add to it and share it. You know what I'm saying? I think something that we want to do more is start writing more spontaneously in a room together. I think that would kind of like
jam writing. Yeah.
I think that would strengthen us if we did more of that. And so I think that's something we're going to want to do moving forward, especially having been signed recently to add inspiration to
that might change your style a little bit too, because it's more like 4 or 5 guys in a rock band that's, because you can't play everything at once. Like you said, like you love to add strings and piano and all this stuff, but when you're jamming on an idea, that's what it is, man. It's just that raw
and that's
rock and roll.
That's fine.
Yeah. It's good to have a variety of everything. So where do you record? Like, who produced those songs? Who mastered them? Okay. That's what I get now. It's like, the guy in the band over here, this guy. A lot of bands are doing that now. Now, were you forced to, or do you like to?
I didn't master them. I usually I produce and record, do the recording and the mixing, and I usually have a couple of people that I rely on for mastering that I really trust.
Yeah.
But I think it kind of came out of necessity. Like, there's a song in this band. We have a song called "How Could I," and that was a song that I did for a totally different. So a long time ago, I was at a band. I was in a band for a hot minute called "This Burns Through," and it was like "Baby Kill Switch Engage" or something. It's very like melodic metalcore stuff. Okay. And my singer for that band wanted to get back together and do stuff. But he was a little flaky. So what I did is I kind of hit up my friend, my old producer, and I was like, all right, so we're gonna record I have this idea. I had the all the verse lyrics for that song. I kind of already had written out, and the melody for the most part. Yeah. So I recorded the synth pad and these vocals, and I went to my friend and we produced the whole song by ourselves, just sort of me and him. And then my friend, and then I go, all right, you say you want to do more stuff. So I kind of gave him a finished song, and I was like, it's as finished as it could be without vocals, essentially. And he kind of dropped the ball. And at the time I'd started playing more with Dark from day one. I think it was like 2020-ish, 19, somewhere around there, somewhere around the pandemic era. And I remember bringing it to them, and I was like, man, I'm not going to do anything with this song. Do you guys want to just take this and just get it over the finish line? And
put some vocals on it.
It was a really cool song, and I just hated the idea that like it would never see the light of day. And like I'd been before that, I had been learning to record and produce just on my own as like I didn't know if I was going to have another project for a bit, so I wanted to get good at doing it for other people and for my own ideas. And it's just like it just sort of became a thing that I just started doing, and I just got a little bit better and better at it as time went on.
Did you do the new song, "The Prisoner"?
Yeah, that's probably that one's probably the most.
I was gonna say,
as far as like mixing and the recording and stuff, and having I had a vision for how I wanted it to sound, and it came out pretty much exactly how I was hoping it would. So
from like a mixer standpoint, how I would describe it is it's the most radio mixed, produced, mastered song out of anything that you've released. And I can hear the growth in your mixing too, because I don't know who mixed this, but I could hear the Linkin Park cover.
That's true.
I could hear the Crawl one, and I could hear the new one, and I go, so this is where this is going, and if this one guy did all this, this is where he's growing.
I think it's just I have a very particular type of there's a joke that whenever a guitar player mixes the band, like the guitars become the vocals or whatever, and I try really hard to not let that happen.
The guitar takes over.
Or I always try to let I always try to mix the vocals last, so that the vocals always end up kind of on top and being the most important thing or whatever. But the big reason I got into recording and mixing back when I was with my old band was I originally just wanted to be able to mix so that I could do all the electronics and the ear candy and the cinematic elements by myself, because I didn't want anyone else to have their hands on it, because it's only my other bands that I were in, I would write little pieces of electronics or pads or cinematic stuff, and the singer would be like, I don't know if I feel it. And then once I was like, well, you don't understand now, but once we're actually in the studio, we can record it, and it's in the song, it'll make more sense.
Yeah.
And so I originally did it because I really like a lot of that stuff. When I was first listening to Dark from Day One, that way back in 2011-ish or whatever, I always liked how some of those earlier songs from the Fire Within era had a little bit more production value. And to me, it always felt like the natural way for the songs to go is you listen to bands like Wage War or like Starset or Fit for a King or Red is a band that you pointed out, and they all have these kind of like this extra production value and ear
theatrical element.
Yeah, and I always thought that it was weird how a lot of local bands kind of poo-pooed that stuff, and they thought that it was like it was cheating, or that it was like, I always thought it was like an avenue of the music and the performance element that people neglected a lot, was like a little bit of theatricality and you know, when you see our live shows, like those interludes that we have between all our songs, it's kind of a big part of the set. It gives us structure, it gives us time to talk.
It makes you unique.
I like to think so. And I guess it's sort of my way of just sort of like, you know, my own progression as a guitar player is a lot different than my progression as a mixer, because like what I like to play on guitar and what interests me isn't always exactly the same as like how I want a song to turn out or something. Like my guitar playing has got, like I said, it's gotten like a lot lower. It's gotten a lot more reminiscent of stuff like Korn and Sleep Token and bands like that. But like,
it's one thing to write something as a guitarist, and then another thing to write something as a producer, or how the song turns out.
Yeah,
it changes a little bit.
And I try to divide the two a little bit. Like I sort of like if I write a riff that I like on guitar, I'm like, oh, I really like this. But like when it comes to the production value, that's where I kind of like I like to let the songs write themselves. And if we work on a demo or something and somebody doesn't like something, like to me that's a big issue. But like so far when it comes to like production value, meaning like ear candy and synth tracks and cinematic drops and strings, so far no one's ever in the band been like, I don't know if this fits here, if this works or whatever. So it's sort of like my way of kind of peppering the stuff that I love in a way that's not very obtrusive or stepping on anything.
Yeah,
we have done songs where we took stuff out that was too much.
Yeah,
but, I don't know. It's just something I like. I've always liked bands like Red and Starset, or even like earlier Skillet or whatever, before they became like boomer rock, where I really liked
I know what you mean,
the theatricality of the music. And if I could squeeze more of that in there and it sounds good and people like it and the guys like it, then, you know, we'll keep doing it.
Yep. It's good.
We want to create an experience, you know, we want to create like moments in time, you know, like, so people might not remember every single song or every note, but they will remember that moment that you created for them. And so it could be as simple as, you know, during the track or whatever, then Rob like give somebody some horns or whatever it is, you know, like create moments.
Yeah, I agree. What so I throw out you have endorsements and sponsorships and stuff, like throw out any of that right now if you guys want to.
So the biggest one that has been for the longest time has actually been InTune Guitar Pigs. I love those.
Yeah, people. Those guys are great. They're
amazing. Yeah. We've had Orange Amps and Diamond stuff before. I don't think, honestly, right now we have a whole bunch.
What type of picks do you guys order from them?
I order the glow grips, and so they glow. Okay. They're like a medium. I was
gonna try them. I use the Grip X. Love the Grip X ones. Yeah, a little bit of powder on there.
Yeah, those are really good.
Yep.
These guys, I don't think have got to order any yet, but that's pretty much standard what I get.
Okay. You think
John used to have soul tone cymbals, if I'm not mistaken?
Cymbals, Silver Fox drumsticks, Mother Tone drums, Leishman drums.
Johnny has the biggest resume of like sponsorships on his.
It sounds like
I don't have any.
No more. I don't want the endorsements. I like where I'm at now. Yeah. Like, I like buying my Vader sticks and not
like zero endorsements.
Yeah, Silver Fox was still around. Like I would gladly be with Silver Fox. They were great. Like we went to NAMM shows together. They got me the other endorsements that I had, but no.
Helps with tour support, right?
Do what?
I said it helps with the tour support, hopefully, right?
Yeah, it helps. Well, I mean, it helps when you're sitting there and you're not like, well, I didn't make any money last night and I didn't get to buy any sticks. I had to wrap tape around them and you got to survive on them. Oops.
Yep.
and then you have endorsements, and you're like, the guy gave me like 25 pairs of sticks, and they're there. Like, and you got to kind of learn to control yourself though, and not break them all the time too, because they do cost money. So.
True. Yeah,
I mean,
drumsticks.
I'd love to get a Kiesel endorsement. Like the Kiesel people watch this podcast. give me one of your Invader series. I'll do anything I have to.
I do know CAD Audio and SC Electronics. They support a lot of bands. So send your press kits to these guys.
All right. Definitely.
Shout out to you guys out there.
There you go. Right.
They've been amazing too. They'll take care of you.
Cool.
So band goals for, let's say, this year and into next year. Obviously new music. You've already said that.
Yeah, for sure. That's the big thing that I've been kind of like more like gung ho about, is like I don't want to divide our attention between doing too many things before we have, because it's been a long time. We've been playing like the same set for a good year plus, I feel like. And
It's been a while.
like I was talking to the guys. I was like, I really want to prioritize like writing new stuff, like new tunes that we're excited about and we're excited to get to play in front of people.
Yep.
I was talking to Johnny about it one time, and he's like, "Man, I'm ready to get some of those older tunes, just put them in the Dark Day One retirement hall for a little bit."
Yeah, absolutely.
Not a bad idea.
And it's good to keep the blade sharp. I always get paranoid when I take too much time away from writing. I'll be like, do I remember how to write songs? What if I've forgotten it all? What if I'm out of juice and I don't have
6 months, man.
Yeah, if I don't have anything left in the tank, and then like I get back in front of the computer, I'm like, oh, okay, I remember. Like,
you're like, now I'm on fire.
But
do you have shows coming up this summer?
So actually, right now we don't have anything set up. We've been offered a ton of different tour opportunities. I mean, I would tell you some names and you'd probably laugh. But I mean, a lot of them have been decent opportunities, but kind of like what Rob said, we really want to have, a new show. And I think not only do we want to step up music wise as far as content, but we want to have the show behind it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So take your time. Yeah, don't rush everything.
Yeah, we're being patient. So hopefully, we get this new content and we figure out different things that we want to do show wise, and then we'll hit the road.
Because we're kind of going through a metamorphosis in the way that we are we are kind of like rebuilding from the ground up how we're creating content and how we're working together. And the idea is to whatever we do now, it's super solid and very efficient and something that we can always build on earlier and not throw away what we're trying to do. So anything that we're doing right now, we might be taking our time a little bit, but also what we're doing is super solid in how we're going about it. So that's kind of our goal, to create something that's a little bit more lasting, like how we're going about it, something that makes a lot of sense for all of us in each of our lives, because we all work really hard, day to day, and have a lot of things going on. So, we're working on efficiency and building something very solid every step of the way.
Yeah, and it still appears to be new too, because I'm looking at things, and I was looking at Spotify too, and I go, I don't think these guys are a new band, but they kind of seem like a new band. So it's like you said, there's something I could tell there's something going on there. I don't know if it's because I'm an artist too.
From an observer side,
yeah, like, I can kind of hear it.
Like when we put out Prisoners, I was like, it's every song we put out a little bit to some degree or the other. Some songs are bigger offenders than others. There's always like that, oh, I wish we could have done this, or I wish the mix would have turned out better like this or whatever. But Prisoners is like, it's a big, strong first step, and it feels like there's nothing that I listen back to it and go like, oh, like if only I would have done this, or oh man, I don't love the guitar tones on this.
Yeah,
thing.
You don't want that feeling at all.
So like I don't want to have the go back and tinker syndrome, and like that's what he said, like efficiency or whatever, or making sure that we are, when we put it out, that we like it and we're excited about it, we're happy about it or whatever. And like I don't really worry if other people are gonna like it, but I do worry if the four of us like it.
Yeah.
Like
and you want to play it and you want to move on. You kind of want to, you want to create new stuff. You don't want to be like, well,
yeah, when I was working on the demo and I sent it to him, like I got like a really enthusiastic response back that I was like, that tells me like we're on it's the right track or whatever. And I told him like I wanted to come in and I had an idea to just like, we had kind of a very strong direction for the song, and I wanted to come in and like commit to getting everything that we hear out of the way quickly, then go back and see if we don't like something or whatever. And it was probably the quickest we've churned out a song, all things considered.
That means it's a single. If it's quick and it comes together easy and there's no bumps in the road.
I hope, yeah, maybe, but I hope so.
It's usually how it works.
The way we did it, like the mastering process took longer than the recording and mixing. It was like,
ironically,
it was 4 or 5 masters back and forth, and Truman was like, put a guitar lead at the beginning, and I was like, I just mastered it, and he was like, or I just had Tyler master it, and so, but luckily, right when he said that, the label came back and said, can you make the intro shorter? And I was like, yeah, I'll cut out 9 seconds if it makes you happy or whatever. Like, it's whatever. Like,
yeah.
But up to that point, it was a very seamless, stress-free writing process, especially handling like the vocals and doing more screaming and stuff was a big thing that we were like, we want to do more screaming. We want to do more of like the harsh vocals on some of it, because he does a lot of it live, and we want to start incorporating that into the actual music itself.
And screaming is something that I learned to do with this band, because my background beginning is classical. Okay, classical music first.
Yeah.
Then into like gospel style singing, like a cappella group, stuff like that. And I mean, I'm just talking about voice. Instrumental wise, I've started out on piano, guitar. I've played lots of.
He's a very good piano player too. You don't really know that as well, but yeah, absolutely.
So coming in,
you have something grounded about you. I can just tell.
Right on.
Yeah, I'll take that background.
So coming into this, I had to learn to scream, not only just that, but hit distorted highs and hit those notes in a way that did not damage my voice. So I really kind of dove into, I knew how to sing properly, right? I knew how to sing properly, and I love this kind of music. So now doing it on stage when there's a lot of loudness that generally isn't present in other styles of music.
You force yourself even more.
And learn how to do it in a way that doesn't hurt my voice in a sustainable way, which kind of leads into what we were talking about those different keys and stuff.
So we got dark from day one, but you are 100% right, because you don't want to, throw out your voice on stage, and it's like, how can I scream that way every single night?
Yeah, I don't want surgery in 5 years. I don't want that.
No, you don't want steroids in the neck like Scott Stapp, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, none of that.
Well, thanks guys for coming on the show. I'm sure we have a lot more to talk about too. And when you release an EP or full record or whatever is going on, you come back maybe early next year or whenever the release date is. We'll chat about all that.
That's the goal.
I'd like to do a song. I've never done this. I'd like to do a song by song breakdown of how you recorded everything and how did each song come about. If we could fit that in 50
I love
minutes.
That. me and him would love that.
You get 9 minutes a song. Go.
Because he loves a lot of the recording stuff too. He's very savvy. Natal used to record a lot of the older iterations of the band, like from the Fire Within to when Johnny also joined. Is like Natal also did a bit of the production on that stuff as well. So like no one here is it's no one here's first rodeo.
We'll do the making of show. Yeah. I've never even thought of that.
In another perspective, that doing that would probably be very constructive for us also to doing that would probably make us really look at the journey that we've taken so far and probably give us good ideas. You'd be real time a part of us refining our process.
That would be cool.
Hear the story too. Hear the story as well.
All right. Yeah, just let me know and anytime come back, even if it's I don't know in this the fall or something. Just let me know. I'll have you guys back on. I love talking about that stuff. So
where can I find this video?
A bunch of places out there. Radio Wigwam listeners, it'll be all over my social media, Radio Wigwam social media, and the websites. But it'll also be airing on the radio side of things, and I re-air stuff a lot too. So this interview probably be re-aired quite a bit. So thanks for coming on the show. Make sure you guys check out their music. I think when you release an album, it should be dark from day 1, then dark from day 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. That's what I gotta say.
All right.
It's a
You
series.
set yourself up there.
Dark from day 2.0.
Oh yeah, man. There you go. And then 3.0 and just keep going. Thanks, guys. Have a good
Thanks.
night, everybody. I will
You too,
talk to you
man.
soon.
All right.
Bye-bye.